I just put my tuner's name and length that I need on there, so if anything is wrong I can just blame him right away. Alright fellas and chinchillas, we are back. So I am working on this transmission mount today. So I hacked up my old one. So basically this is how it worked. This is the old, what do you want to call it, like cross member or guard that went underneath the factory transfer case. And all I did was weld this bar across the top of it, and then the transmission mount was there. That was for the two-wheel drive setup. So what I'm going to do now, I cut this thing off and I'm going to test fit this, make sure this thing fits. I think I might be able to reuse this thing and actually use it as it's intended to protect the transfer case underneath. So I'm going to test fit that thing. And we are working with the garage door open today because it's like 40 degrees today, so it's nice and warm and I can actually get a little more light in the garage and not be cold. Got a little bit of a late start because I did a little bit of cleaning today. I know it doesn't look like it, but these are all parts that are going back in the truck, so there's not a lot of junk anymore. But let's get back underneath the truck and look at this cross member thing, see if it fits. So with any luck, I'll be able to mount this thing up in the factory location and have it actually protect the transfer case like it was intended. So I'm gonna just do a little test fit. That's what it looks like. I do have clearance. It actually looks like it'll work pretty good. I'm going to try to get a nut on here. Alright, so I cut this piece at 18 inches. My plan here is to do something like this. I can put it on top of this cross member, and I'm going to mark I'll see how I want to do it. I might do it this way. So I can use the existing cross member holes. I'm going to mark the holes that I want to drill. And then I might just be able to weld another piece of angle on right here to this and be done with it. Alright, I'll take it off and weld it up that way. Alright, I'll rig up my awesome welding table. Wood breaker. Alrighty, there we have the first one. So wire speed was a little slow on there, so I went over it again. But I've been working on a different technique that I'm used to. I'm working on pushing forward. I've always done it pulling, so I'm trying a new technique. I haven't really practiced it that much, but trying to work on doing it a different way. Sometimes I can get it to look pretty decent, but that spot there doesn't look too bad, but we'll flip it over. All right, that's pretty much what we got. I did do a couple extra beads just to practice a little bit more with that pushing. I don't really weld a whole lot, so I'm, and this is a nice long bead, so trying to get a couple in there, get a little bit more practice. So that's what it looks like. Do the same thing on the other side. But, all right, I'll probably throw some paint on it and we'll throw it in the truck. All right, so everything's in now. It's painted. And it's being held up by its own weight. Just have the one bolt on each side. I think I'm gonna actually I might do a bigger bolt or washer on the top, but it's in there. It's being supported by its own weight. Has clearance all the way around. Has clearance all the way around the transfer case. And this little skid plate thing is in place. So got to get a couple more bolts for that, or find some. But other than that, everything should be decent. All right, so next I'm going to measure for the drive shaft. So I'm taking my drive shaft. It's too long now, so it's not going to fit on the back side, but I put the yoke in. What I'm going to do is push it all the way forward as far as it'll go, and then come out about 1 inch. Looking for about a 1 inch pull out from fully seated, which basically I'm just going to kind of line it up with where the little rubber seal is out there. So that'll allow for some suspension travel in and out so it doesn't bottom out. On the back side, I just used my old yoke from my other drive shaft that I broke. So this I did measure and verify that it is the same size. That one is a 1350 U-joint in it, and this one is the factory 1310, I believe that one is. 1310 or 1330. So I upgraded it to the 1350 and just made sure that they are the same size, the center point is. So put that on there, and then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a tape measure, and I'll measure from center on the cap over here and center on the cap on the front. All right, and I did make sure that the joint's at the same angle front and back, just so I'm not getting any extra length from it being twisted. So now I'm going to come all the way back, and I'm just going to hook the tape measure basically on the little clip, the little inside clip, snap ring, and then I'm going to pull this will be a little tricky, but I'm going to pull the tape measure over, try to keep it tight. And then I'll look, and I'm at about 50 and I'll look at them about 50 3/4 to the center of the cap. So I'm gonna double check this measurement because it's about 1/8 of an inch different than what I had before. So I'm gonna just make sure I got everything right. But I did move the shaft around a little bit, so just gonna kind of double check it. I had 50 1/8 before. Or not 50 1/8, 50 5/8. Derp. Alright. So I'm gonna actually hold my hand on the backside this time. Yeah, it's about 50 and about 50 3/4 to the center. All right, got the shaft out, and I'm just gonna wrap up the ends. Just wrapped up the ends with some bubble wrap. This is the yoke side, just in case it gets tossed around or dinged around at all. Don't want those getting messed up. This is all gonna get cut down, so I just put my tuner's name and the length that I need on there for the guy so he knows. I just use the name of my tutor, so if anything is wrong, I can just blame him right away. But this thing is ready to get dropped off. All right, so let's make a list. very official list using paper and tape. Before we do that, I want to talk about these gloves. I did a little review video on them a couple days ago. I finally ripped one. So I've been using the same pair since I made that video. So it's been like 4 days, and I've been working with these things for 4 days. And now I finally ripped one. So pretty cool gloves, like them a lot. How specific do we want to get? So I know I got to take the drive shaft out. I know I got to take it to the shop. So we'll do install drive shaft. That's kind of a given. So I do have to fill all the fluids. And part of filling the fluids, I said I got to take the transfer case back off because I have to make a seal on there. I didn't put the gasket in when I put the transfer case on. I'm not sure if I want to use the little paper gasket that it came with or use RTV, might RTV it. But I do have to do the T-case seal. What else do we got? So I got to put all the engine bay stuff on. So install turby, we'll just say engine bay stuff. I do have to flash a tune onto a different computer. So the giveaway that I did, I said I was gonna give away a computer. So I was gonna load a whole new tune on the computer that I had, but the guy who won it, he wanted a 3-bar flex setup on a P59 with setup for methanol injection. So that's exactly what I had in this truck. And what I wanted to do and verify it before I sent it out, because I didn't want to like load it and then send it out without actually knowing it runs the vehicle. So I just sent him the one that was in this truck. So this one, I don't have this one, I shipped it out. But I'll probably load a whole new, I might start fresh actually. I don't know what I want to do yet, but I gotta figure out my computer situation. So I gotta load a tune. What else? I feel like I want to rerun my return fuel line. So I was thinking about that today. I've been running E85 and I have just a regular rubber hose on the return side. And I have like a E85 compatible, alcohol compatible supply line. So I think I might want to switch that out. So maybe we could do that yet. So that might be a good idea. I can just see that thing over time getting spongy and something happening to it. I just get paranoid about it because it's a fuel line. Safety loops, drive shaft safety loops. I want to try to figure out something, especially for that front shaft. I'll probably just put the regular safety loop that I have on the back, figure something else out for that. But I want to figure something out for the front shaft, because if that thing breaks, it's going to take out, that's my thought anyways, it's going to take out the engine, transmission, possibly my fuel lines, like everything. If something happens to that, U-joint breaks or something and that thing starts whipping around because it's right next to the transmission and where the fuel lines run, kind of paranoid about that. So we'll figure something else out with that one. Maybe I'm really overthinking this. I feel like there's a lot of stuff to do yet, but there's not really that much. So I mean, these two aren't really critical that I don't have to do these. I could just keep these the same, the change return line and do the safety loops. That stuff's not really, I mean, it's good, I should do it, but it's not something that's gonna keep me from actually getting it out and driving it. Oh, transfer case shifter, I gotta figure that out. So I was looking at an actual shifter from, for the 261 manual shift transfer case, and they're like 50, 60 bucks on eBay for the whole setup unit, the shifter with the linkage. And I was thinking about just doing that and putting it on the floor and try to get it set up actually like factory on the trans tunnel. So I still gotta buy one of those. I did contact the guy that I got the front drive shaft from. He said he probably still has it in his truck that he got this shaft out of, but he's an hour away from here, and I don't know, I guess it'd be worth it if it was really cheap, but we'll figure that out. If not, I'll probably just do like a rod or something simple, just to go from 2 high to 4 high. Other than that, I'll keep adding to this list as I go. So we got a couple things that we need to work on yet, of course, so that's what I'll be doing over the rest of the week. A lot of the stuff I can probably get done in a day. But that drive shaft, I'm guessing the drive shaft's gonna take at least a week. Last time the guy did the drive shaft, it took about a week to get it back because he's kind of busy. It's a nice small little machine shop and did really nice work, so I kind of just want to take it back to that guy. Maybe this shouldn't take too long. Get it done by the end of the week, get it in there. I'd like to have all of this stuff done by the time the drive shaft comes in, and then the truck is pretty much ready to go test it. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.